hearing is now called to order. This hearing is being held as required by the provisions of Chapter 131, Section 40 of the General Laws of the Commonwealth and Act relative to the protection of the wetlands as most recently amended. Notice of time and place of this hearing was published in the Fairhaven Neighborhood News on February 6, 2025. It was also posted in the town clerk's office. This meeting is being audio and video. Persons wishing to be heard will be called in the following order. I'd like to entertain a motion to open the public meeting.
Motion to open the public meeting.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so before I start with this, I just want to give a little notice here. Our next meeting, which will be on March 12th, is at the police department, the Acushnet Police Department. It'll be there all the way until June. Just so you're here, and I will mention it again at the end of the meeting, just to remind everybody, but this is just for that short period of time, and then we'll be back here again. Okay. Notice hereby given that the Acushnet Conservation Commission will be held at a public hearing on Wednesday, February 12th, beginning at 6 p.m. in the town meeting hall located at 122 Main Street, Acushnet, Massachusetts. First thing is minutes for approval. There's nothing there. Meeting mail, nothing there. Old business. Mark, any old business? Okay.
That'll be the list.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, continued public hearing, NOI Lake Street, New Bedford Reservoirs, Lakes 1, 2, and 4. Map 3, Lot 13, Map 4, Lot 49, and Map 19, Lot 32-SE 0010595. A notice of intent was filed by James Kelly, Town of Acushnet, for the property located at the New Bedford Reservoir, Lakes 1, 2, and 4. The applicant proposes the removal at the root of invasive weeds from areas in the New Bedford Reservoir, Lakes 1, 2, and 4, located in Acushnet using an eco-harvester. The applicant is represented by Scott Daggett, Lake Street Improvement Committee. This meeting has been continued to March 12, 2025. Review of the matters presented, votes may be taken due to the Mullen Rule. Rebecca and Nelson will not be eligible to vote. So I'd like to do is entertain a motion to open continued public hearing.
I'll make a motion.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. One other thing, guys, is that I won't be voting. I'm only going to be using my vote when it's necessary, either to break a tie or it's needed. Otherwise, I will not be voting. Okay. Next. Continued public hearing. NOI Stormwater White's Farm Incorporated, 211 Middle Road, maps 23, lots 29, 29A, 29B. SE number is 0010596. A notice of intent and stormwater application was filed by Zachary Farks, Middle Road, Acushnet, Solar LLC, for property located at 211 Middle Road, maps 23, lot 29, 29A, and 29B. The applicant proposes to construct a ground-mounted solar array on a portion of the open fields within the property located at 211 Middle Road in Acushnet. Work is limited to the 100 buffer zone to the bordering vegetated wetland and bank. The applicant is represented by Sarah Stearns of Beals and Thomas Incorporated. Plan name is Middle Road PV Solar Development. Date September 10th, 2024. Reviews of matters presented. Votes will be taken. Due to the Mullen Rule, Rebecca and Nelson will not be eligible to vote. I'd like to entertain a motion to do a continuation.
Motion to continue.
Everybody knows that except for us.
Excuse me?
No, I'm sorry, I was talking about it.
And do I get a second?
Second. Till the next meeting,
Till March 12th.
you want, yeah, and that's for peer review comments, still back and forth.
Correct.
Mr. Chairman, I heard till next meeting and then I heard March 12th.
March 12th is the next meeting.
Is anything being discussed tonight, or
Okay,
should
my
we
confusion.
leave?
That's okay. Excuse me?
Is anything being discussed? Is everything being pushed, or is it?
No, we do have a couple that'll be coming up in the new business that is not continued. Okay. Next one, continue public hearing, NOI, Matthew Batello, Mattapoisett Road.
Wait, did I get a motion to continue that?
No.
Yeah, and you have to put the date, you gotta list the
Yep,
date.
so motion to continue to March 12th meeting.
I made the motion to
No,
continue
yeah.
that.
Yes,
Okay.
entertain.
Second.
Someone else has to entertain.
I entertained it first.
Okay.
So there was a second by Heidi, and then it was ayes across the board.
Okay. Alright.
Okay, next, continue public hearing, NOI, Matthew Batello, Mattapoisett Road, map 10, lot 14, 14A, 14.14A. SE number is 0010599. A notice of intent was filed for the property located at Mattapoisett Road, map 10, lot 14.14A. The applicant proposes to construct a single-family house with a septic system, roof area infiltration system, well, associated grading, and a small portion of the paved driveway within the 100-foot buffer zone to a bordering vegetated wetland. The applicant is represented by Alphonse Coca of KBM Design Group LLC. Plan name is proposed single-family dwelling site plan, dated December 16, 2024. The meeting has been continued to March 12, 2025. Review of the matters presented, votes may be taken. Once again, Rebecca and Nelson is not allowed to vote.
No.
Members, Rebecca and Nelson have viewed, the January 15th meeting video and signed an affidavit regarding the Mullen Rule. Look at that, you're right up there now. Okay, I would like to entertain a motion to continue the hearing to March 12, 2025.
Motion to continue to March 12th, 2025.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now we'll be starting on the new business. Public hearing, RDA Acushnet Company, 115 Manchester Lane, map 11, lot 25C.34. A request for determination was filed by Acushnet Company for property located at 115 Manchester Lane, map 11, lot 25C.34. The applicant proposes tree trimming and selective tree removal with stumps to remain. The applicant is presented by William Madden of GAF Engineering. Plan name is Plan to Accompany Request for Determination of Applicability, dated January 14, 2025. Reviews of the matters presented, votes may be taken. I would like to entertain a motion to open the public hearing.
I'll second that.
All those in favor? Bill, it's all yours.
And I'm going to recuse myself of this.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. I'll be back, stay tuned.
Hi, I'm Bill Madden from GAF, and also with Mr. Kevin Kelly from the Acushnet Company. I'm here to represent them for the request for determination of applicability we filed a month or so ago for some tree clearing they're looking to do at the short game course that's at Manchester Lane. As you recall, those of us that were out there, we had a site inspection on Saturday morning, went through a couple of the matters that the commission was interested in, and the number of trees that we were looking to cut was of some concern. This plan that I have in front of you indicates the area of the short game course. That's what it's called. It's a little golf hole. They do pitching and putting and things like that out there. It's a continuation and extension of the performance center down there at Manchester Lane, as it's now called. So what we did is we shaded the areas that the overhanging limbs occur on, and where some of the trees are to be cut. On this southern, is it the southerly facing? Yeah, let's call it
Should
the
be
south.
the east, right?
Yeah, more or less.
That's where the sun rises.
Yep. So there's a stone wall that parallels the cart path there. It's not truly a cart path, but the access way that goes to the back of the short game course. That area is where most of the trees are shading some of the golf course. And when they have shading, they have growth issues with the turf. Turf management becomes a little bit more difficult. The trees also serve as a host to various kind of pests and insects and things like that, that can, they can get blown out of the trees, get on the turf. They can lay eggs, they can be there, they can eat the turf, they can do a lot of things, and really what it does is it costs the company, some resources, financial and manpower wise, to maintain those things. And you know, if we eliminate the source of the host, we're able to better control what goes on as far as the growing conditions on the short game course. But predominantly, like I say, the easterly sunrise was yielding a pretty good shading of the short game. We were able to witness that at the site inspection. There's a stone wall along this boundary, and some of the trees do lean over the stone wall into the short game course. So the overhanging limbs are going to be cut, and in a few instances the entire tree will have to come down because the vast majority of the tree is overhanging that wall. So in total, there's about 15 or 20 trees that are going to need to be cut. I spoke to DJ, he's the turf management superintendent down there, who's in charge of the facility. And he went out there after the site meeting and flagged up the trees that he's looking to trim down. And predominantly the ones on, what side are we over there? This is really east over here, southeast. And that's the area that's a little closer to the BBW. You have the BBW border here. There's a chain link fence that separates the short game from the wooded area. And there was a discussion in the field that was along the lines that we wanted to make sure that, you know, we didn't cut unnecessarily remove trees that didn't need to be cut. So there's about 15 to 20 trees. He didn't have an exact count for me yesterday when we spoke, but that's what he flagged up there, and his intention is to keep the trees that he can keep, similar to what we've done at other locations on at the facility. So there's like 15 or 20 trees that would need to be cut on this side, the northerly side, I'll call it. Really not intending to do too much there other than some trimming of the branches. So, of a few trees, it's not anywhere near as thick and overhanging and extending into the area as this southeasterly side. And we flag those up. They're ready to be viewed in the event the commission wants to issue us a negative determination on this. And you know, certainly we'll work with the commission prior to cutting any trees. Perhaps Mark, commission members, whoever desires to go out there can check and see exactly what's intended to be removed. It's not likely it's going to take a lot of time to do. You know, DJ will be supervising the work. They're likely to hire an outside contractor to do that bucket truck type of deal and tree cutting service. So that's what our request is. That's what it looks like we're going to be doing out there. So with any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Anything from the board?
Yeah, I'll take, so when you're saying, I'm just trying to get terminologies right here. So you said 15 to 20 cutting, is this what are you grouping in the pruning and removal, or just the removal? Is it 15 to 20 removals, and what's the trimming? Are you talking pruning, or so just like a normal prune?
I would say that it looked to me to be fairly substantial pruning, particularly along this edge here where the stone wall is. So it will be trimming, pruning, and removal of trees in their entirety. It's all of the three that you described.
Okay, so you grouped them?
But we're only talking about taking down the 15 to 20 trees in their entirety.
So the removal is gonna be 15 to 20?
Yes.
Okay.
And no stumps to be removed, everything cut flush with grade.
I had another question. At prior meetings, didn't we already go over this and say that if you guys wanted to do more removals, that, needless to say, you said you were gonna you weren't gonna come back to us with more removals, now you're coming back to us with more removals, and I think we stated in that meeting that if you were planning on doing more removals, to come at it with us, with the whole thing, not just keep piecemeal, and the project, so we've already done 2 separate times, correct, it's been?
Correct, the only thing is we haven't allowed, they've never come with us for the shot game, the shot field.
Still
So,
the same
I,
property.
it kinda is, you're right, it's the same property, it's just in a different area now.
Yeah, so I thought originally we said we wanted that all together.
Correct, we did.
Okay, so,
Yeah,
And we did mention that,
You did, there's no, we're
Yep.
not disputing, that is
No,
exactly what was
My
said.
confusion is just what's the reason for coming back again if we already went and, I thought we already took care of the problem of the trimming and the removals. I know it's a different area, but it's still the same property and it's still the same project in my eyes, it's just a different section of it.
Correct. I can't really speak directly to that, other than, you know, the observations that were made since the time we cut the other trees along the test facility, that this has come to light. Granted, the trees didn't just grow in a 2 or 3 year period, and the overhanging branches didn't just recently
Yeah,
appear.
That was
but-
last year.
But I think that, you know, there's so much to do out there, I don't know if it was recognized that they needed to do that at the time.
There's no other, there's also have you guys gone through any other options other than straight removals? Have you gone through the options of different pesticides for the trees themselves? Like there's different, things to repel the bugs and all that stuff before you go straight to the removal? I understand that you're bringing towards us that now you have a problem with shading on a turf, but I can't really see it, in my personal opinion, it's not gonna hurt the growth of a turf, like a regular, is it artificial turf or?
No, it's real turf, but, you know, when it becomes overly shaded, there's a lot of, moss that can grow in the field, there's herbicide that's required. You know, it's true that they might be able to use different insecticides and what have you to kill any pests. But, you know, as far as improving air circulation, sunlight on the course, really the offender is the growth of the trees, and really the thing that has to happen is a routine maintenance of those trees to prevent the growth from getting where it is today.
On the other aspect, is there any, what do you got, other than the grass not growing how you would like it, is there, and we're talking regular grass, right?
Well, no, it's specialty turf.
Yeah,
It's-
well,
yeah,
yeah, but turf,
it's green
when I
grass.
think of turf, I think of a turf like a football field or something, not grass. Is there any other objects in the area that these trees could, you know, you said that they were leaning, is there any hazards in the way where they could be deemed a hazard tree because of a building? Is there any buildings over there, anything like that?
There's no buildings, but there is that cart path that runs along the stone wall, and that's the path that most people will walk, that's the path that the maintenance workers will use. The overhanging trees do interfere with some of that to a limited degree. I'm not gonna say that it's,
No, you're on the right track.
So after me being on site Saturday, took along the stone wall, I'm very comfortable with what's going on there. There's no wetlands on the other side of it, immediate. They do have a lot of branches, there's a couple trees that it would be more than 50% if they just trimmed it, so those trees are gonna have to be stumped. But there was only a cut flush, there's only a few on that stone wall side. The other side is where my concern was, is because you got one spot where 10 feet, literally 10 feet from the wetlands, that's right a little bit further up too, Bill, right there is where it's 10, I believe. But neither here nor there, that was my biggest concern. To me, it's not a big shading issue, because the shade ain't there, so it's up to you guys.
So the whole north side then, if there's no wetlands involved, that's not even in our jurisdiction then? Or is it just land under because that, they're putting it in the hole?
So when you come across the bottom, that's a stone wall, we call it, right?
Yeah,
So that there, I think, is just a legit trim up. A couple trees are gonna be, you're taking too much from the tree, so they're gonna have to be stumped, or cut to the ground level. Then when you come up the other side, that's the one that has a spot that's within 10 feet of the bordering vegetation. right at the top there, Bill, where's the closest?
I think the closest is right here.
Yep, which is 10 feet. So that one there I was a little concerned about, and I don't think a lot of those trees should come down because it's not a shading issue. It'd be more of a bug issue, because the sun just ain't hitting that and shading it on them. And that's like the other side that goes across the top. That one there, same thing. That's not gonna give any shading issues.
And the trees are pretty much trimmed on this side satisfactorily, and I think that the end result,
My,
This-
my question is that the north is out of the buffer zone, right?
it's actually in the 100-foot buffer
It
zone. I
is?
think the 100-foot line, I'm having a tough time reading it.
And this is far.
It's right here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then on the
This,
bottom, so that other line is what?
This one here,
No, the next one over?
this one here,
Yeah,
riverfront.
okay.
There's a stream out over here that we didn't, well, we ran into a situation where we had been monitoring it and we had no flow conditions for the proper number of days, 4 days in a calendar year. Then, you know, we were attempting to make a notice to the commission on that. Then we had some weather and rain in the fall, and it kind of put a kibosh on that whole thought. So we just left it the way it is. We didn't want to make a determination as to the riverfront area, and we would just respect it in the manner that it shows up on the USGS quad sheet as a perennial stream. So we just left those resource areas on the plan.
I think my biggest concern is that you guys said you were gonna do no more, and you're coming in front of us again.
Well, I think what we said was, because I was at that meeting, was that we keep that in mind, but we can't anticipate the future, and there may be more trees that
Well,
need to come down in the future.
removal and pruning are two different separate things. I believe I was the one that specifically said the removals. That's why it gets complicated when we use trimming and cutting in non-professional terms. I can't really, like, even on the pruning, are we just dead pruning, are we just shade pruning, so are you just planning on cutting half the tree apart? Which would detrimentally hurt a lot of them, like you were stating.
That's what I was saying, I actually talked to Bill about it on Saturday, I was like, a lot of these, you're gonna cut so much out, because if they go to the stone wall and went straight up, which is kinda what they wanna do, you're gonna be losing, some of them are over 50% of the tree, so those trees have to be cut to the ground. There wasn't a lot of them that had to be cut to the ground on the stone wall area. I'm gonna probably say a good, probably 6 or 7 on the back side of the stone wall that are gonna have to be cut. That other wall coming back along the chain link fence, that's the one where there was quite a few that they were looking to remove everything pretty much on the course side of the steel, this chain link fence.
Yeah.
Which I thought there was a lot more than 15 and 20 in there though, so you're looking to leave some of them?
Yes.
Unfortunately, I apologize, I couldn't make the meeting, but the 50% rule does, it's usually 30%, but it does obtain on species too. Like maples are known to be very hardy, you can get away with cutting a little more than 50. You go down into like cherries and birch, stuff like that kinda goes the opposite way.
Yep. It looked like most of their pines was what's gonna have to come down.
They're a nuisance.
Yep. And so the only thing I'd like to do is either have Mark or myself go out there, or any commission member, and see what the trees that are flagged. Maybe even do a phone call and say, hey, is there any way you can leave this one, or everything looks good? If that ain't a problem, that's my own opinion.
Yeah, we could even meet you out there with our turf manager.
I'd like to do that.
Absolutely.
So what I can do, I can entertain a motion for a negative determination with the conditions that we meet up and make sure we kind of like it, so we don't have to bring it back to another meeting. And go that way, just deal with the, either the agent, or give him a call to go there and see if any commission members are available to go and take a look at it. I mean, I definitely saw what you guys want to do. I'm glad you're leaving some on that other side, because, you know, like I said, I don't think that's a shading issue. So if we're working together and things look pretty good, I think we can go with that. So, like again, one more time, I'd like to entertain a motion that we give it a negative determination with those speculations that we go see it before they start the work. Do I get a second? All those in favor?
I'm just saying.
All right, two ayes.
What's the
You gotta vote on this one, because we need 4.
Do you need 4?
Give me a minute here. So you got
Okay.
Rebecca, you got Eric abstain, and you got Heidi, Jimmy, Julia, you got,
I will vote,
That's only
yes.
one.
vote for 'em.
it's only one.
I'll vote a yes.
Okay, so now you got 3 to 1.
All set?
So, yeah, that's fine,
Yeah.
I mean, majority of the quorum present, yeah.
All right,
Thank you.
sounds good. Now,
Okay.
do I have to close this, Joanne, or we leave it open?
No, you can close.
All right, I'd like, go right ahead.
So,
Oh, you didn't do,
Go ahead.
you didn't do it.
I know I will.
Plus, do you want to pick a date now, or just let that, just? Do
For
you
the
wanna do it on a
sites-
site
for-
visit again? Do you wanna do it on Saturday,
We
We
do
will-
anytime
What
there's
you
a
wanna
meeting for
do
the commission.
when Matt can get out there?
I heard the agent and
Yeah.
anybody that wants to
So
go
just,
out.
Yeah, I don't think we'll pick a
Merit.
Okay.
Saturday, we'll just go with it.
okay.
The other thing I didn't do is ask the audience, if anyone has any concerns or wanna speak about this project.
Okay, so motion to close.
Matt?
So my comment was just that, when, we can coordinate, when you're ready, I'm happy to try to
Do
get
a
out.
Saturday visit this coming Saturday,
We could do a
or
Saturday.
whatever's.
I'd rather do,
I'm around.
I'd like to go with it too, but we can do a week, during the week.
Okay.
Meet your turf manager too, I'd like to meet him.
Yeah, that would be great. Yeah.
So if you guys can get a hold of Mark, Mark will get a hold of me if I'm available, or if any other commission members are available, we'll take a ride out there, talk to him, take a look at what we want, and go from there.
Sounds good.
Saturday's fine, whatever works, you know, or
Yeah, let's see what-
weekday, Saturday, I'm flexible.
We'll
So-
talk to DJ, our turf manager, and
Probably Friday.
see what's good for everybody, and give you guys a call.
Okay,
And
sounds
with
good.
any luck, if the contractor that they were gonna hire to do the work is available,
Yeah.
maybe it would be good for him to hear directly from the commission members and the agent what the thoughts are, so there's no misunderstanding on his part.
Sounds good.
That'd be really good.
All right, with that being said, I'd like to entertain a motion to close this public hearing.
Motion to close?
All those in favor? You need me, my vote too on that one or no?
Yeah.
Aye?
That's fine.
All right.
Thanks very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, next, the COC of Acushnet Company, 115 Manchester Lane, don't go too far, Bill. Map 11, lot 25C.34, SE number 0010571. A certificate of compliance was filed by Acushnet Company for property located at 115 Manchester Lane, map 11, lot 25C.34. The applicant proposes work that consists of the installation of utility poles, overhead wires, tree limb trimming, and tree removal as necessary to provide three-phase power service to the facility within the 100-foot buffer zone to a bordering vegetated wetland. A small access area to provide the means to install the overhead lines. This area was not located in a resource area or buffer zone. Test facility visitor center, as-built plan dated January 17, 2025. Review of matters presented, votes may be taken. I'd like to entertain a motion to accept the COC.
Hold
I mean,
on, hold on one second, just for the record, Doug is still recused.
I'm still recusing myself.
Oh,
yes.
okay.
I'd like to entertain a motion to open up the COC. Motion, second.
It's not here.
All those in favor?
I'm gonna abstain.
Okay. Go ahead, Bill.
Okay, Bill Madden from GAF here on behalf of the Acushnet Company, also with me is Kevin Kelly. Saturday, we did a site inspection of the site and focused pretty much on the work that was done in the buffer zone to the BVW. And that was pretty much limited to the drainage basin, that was to the west of Manchester Lane, or the site access drive. You might recall, we did walk down, looked at the sediment forebays, looked at the drainage basin, the turf establishment that's been going on in there, and went to the end of the drainage basin where really the only point of discussion came up with the level of the level spreader. So, anyway, it's kind of deceiving, because I went back to the actual survey data that we took when we were in the field to look at it, and the shocks that were on the bottom of the level spreader were all within 1/10 of a foot. They were 36.9 to elevation 37. So it was a little deceiving, because the grade kind of rises up behind it, or looking at it to the north, and gives the little deception of a not so level spreader. But it's truly level. So we
Even on
checked.
top of the stone?
What's that?
Did you, was that the bottom you shot it?
Top.
Top, wow.
It is deceiving that.
That was really deceiving then.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, we said maybe just a little handwork. I didn't think it was that far off, but
Yeah.
it's a lot closer than what I thought.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's literally, the top of the berm around the basin's elevation 42 in that area, we're at 37, so, there's some footage that we're really talking about there that can distort the way everything's perceived.
Yeah.
It's tricky, I mean,
Yeah.
it can be. But that's what we looked at. We feel like the site's fully stabilized and established. We'd like to remove the sedimentation erosion control barriers that were in place during construction, and wrap the job up, should the commission be willing to grant us the COC.
So just so, I know that you three weren't at the thing, I thought it was one of the cleanest, neatest areas put in that I've seen. The grass is coming back really nice. It was really, I was impressed, very impressed with the way it looked. The only thing, I looked at the spreader box and I said to Bill, I don't think this is too level. And we all stood there and said, no, it kind of isn't, but maybe just a little hand rake. Well, it's leveler than what we thought. So with that being said, I'd like to entertain a motion to accept the COC, or grant him the COC.
I'll make a motion with the COC.
Do I get a second?
I
Second?
I second.
All right, all those in favor?
I'll abstain on this.
Aye.
Abstain.
You got it, brother.
All right. Thank you very much for your time, much appreciated.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We'll call when we know a little bit more on the trimming issue.
Yep, give us a call, we'll take a ride over, take a quick glance at that, and I'm sure we want to get. Thank you, Bill.
Thanks very much for your time, much appreciated.
We have scheduled site visits this Saturday, we're off this Saturday, but we will the following Saturday, just so still people around the troops and maybe do something.
Oh, yeah, that would.
All right, Doug, you coming back with us?
Tell me about it.
You coming back on the commission?
Yes.
Come on over. Hey, you guys have a great night.
Likewise, take care, thank you
Okay,
very much.
next on the list, public hearing NOI, Brookside Realty Trust, 1094 Main Street, map 7, lot 15, SC number 001-0600. A notice of intent was filed by Brookside Realty Trust, CO John P. Matthew, trustee for property located at 1094 Main Street, map 7, lot 15. The applicant proposes to install a Title V septic system for the 4-family bedroom dwelling with the installation of 2 wells and water pipes located toward the rear of the property within the 100-foot buffer zone to a bordering vegetated wetland. The applicant is represented by David M. Davinian of Schneider, Davinian and Leon. Incorporated plan name is Sewage Disposable System Repair and Well Replacement Plan dated January 2nd, 2025. Review of the matters presented. Votes may be taken. I'd like to entertain a motion to open the public hearing.
Motion to open the public hearing.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Dave, it's all yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, members of the commission. I'm Dave DeVigny from Schneider, DeVigny, Leone, here representing the owners of 1094 Main Street. Most of you know this is a mobile home park, has 49 mobile homes located on it, as well as an additional four-family dwelling located in the front of the property. The mobile home park had a septic system installed some time ago, done by the prior owner. This building was never taken care of. So we're here this evening for actually the two-pronged part of the project. First being a septic upgrade of the system for the four-family, four-family home located towards the street. If I may, I'm gonna take a break and just give Joanne the green cards before I forget. So sheet one of the set depicts the front detail of the site in 20 scale drawing. The blue line represents an intermittent stream. That intermittent stream was determined intermittent by the commission through an RDA several months back in the fall. There's a flag, the green represents a flagged top of bank to that stream. The top of bank was approved as accurate through an ANRAD, which was filed by, I believe, Beals and Thomas for a future solar development. They did an ANRAD for the entire property. I highlighted in yellow the proposed septic system. The existing septic consists of a septic tank and a beehive of some sort located directly in the rear of the house. And the well is located about 25 feet away, which is not the ideal situation, to say the least. Minimum setback, even for repair, is 50 feet. We're proposing to upgrade the septic, which will be 50 feet from that well. This circle that you see is a 50-foot radius. We're also maintaining 50 feet from the BBW or the top of the bank flags, so we've kind of shoehorned it in there. It will be located with a septic tank and a pump chamber within an existing parking area partially. So that's why we're proposing to relocate that parking area for the existing residents north of the system. And in doing so, we're going to put boulders around the system, protect it from vehicular traffic, and so we don't have anybody bumping into it. This will be a raised system. It'll look like a planter bed with a pea stone surface to it. It's a bottomless sand filter, which is the smallest system that you could put. It doesn't require a 5-foot overdig. Basically, it looks like a flower bed, a raised flower bed. We are proposing we'll be crushing and filling the tank and the beehive, and then running a pipe south of the building to a septic tank, which would be a denitrification septic tank. So this will be a denite system. Call this the Cadillac of all systems on the market. And then it'll roll into a pump chamber, and then it'll pump through 1-inch lines within the leaching field. So basically all the work is being done within a lawn area or existing gravel parking areas. And again, we'll be expanding the driveway that comes around to make it 20 feet wide around the east side. So that's part one of the project. The second part has more to do with the mobile home park. The current owner purchased the property less than 2 years ago. The prior owner owned it for some time and basically did no maintenance to the site other than putting in a new septic. The well house and the wells need to be replaced. They're located centrally in the middle of the field. And we're picking a spot to relocate the wells so that they're between the upper field and the lower field. So that when they pull a radius around it, there won't be any impacts to the future solar development. So we are proposing a pump house located adjacent to, this is a woods road, it'll take you all the way to the top half of the property. Pump house here, and we have 2 stakes in the field for well locations, sort of in the midpoint of the two wetland fields in the east and west. So the well rig will be able to back right down this existing woods road, install 2 wells, and then pull out. The erosion control is proposed on both sides of the road. Basically, everything will be contained within that woods road. There will be trenching for water lines to bring it back to the pump house. And then from the pump house, we'll be connecting to the existing water lines that run parallel to Clem's Way. I don't know, Mr. Chairman, so I need to go into the mosquito control issue that we had on site?
Well, the only thing is I do wanna tell the members.
Okay.
Okay, so we had, when we walked it, we found one spot, Dave, if you don't mind just pointing it out right there, that point, I believe it's kind of.
There's an old well that we actually located, and we believe that, some time ago, somebody had, put this well in, they cleared an area. There's an area that when you come around a bend, it's cleared. When mosquito control came in, for the current owner, I believe in 2021 was the first time. They cut-
2023 is when they did that one.
Right, they cut trees along the stream and they opened up the stream in both directions, and they thought, based on Mass GIS mapping, the wetlands weren't as extreme as they are flagged and approved. And so they picked this area, looks like a pine grove in there. And they picked the spot and they put all the tree debris, the branches and stumps and everything in a pile right there. And when we did the on-site, we didn't know.
Right, so what I did is I called today, just so you guys know, I talked right with the Bristol County, asked them about it, I got their superintendent, the guy who did the job, he called me right back. And just so you guys know, he kinda told me exactly what he did, and then he said, don't forget we're exempt. So they did let me know that they're exempt. They are gonna get a hold of us now in the future directly. They were sending things to the town hall. Now it'll go directly right to the Conservation Commission as well as the town hall. So now we're gonna have more warning to know that, okay, this property is being dinged. We can go there before they do any work, take a look after they do the work. And then this way, if it ever comes up again, Dave was scrambling a little bit, figuring out why that was pushed there. I was kind of upset because I thought the owner did it, but after making the phone calls and everything, and it's all legit, and there ain't much we can do about it, except for now on, they're gonna give us notice. So with that being said, everything is gonna be put into the road then and go back to the existing grade. All the pipes for the well, everything
Yes.
is right down the road.
No grade changes, be restored.
Just open it up, put the pipes in, close it up.
That's correct.
Alright. Anyone else?
How far below, David, these pipes intended to go in the road?
Water lines are 4 feet minimum. So typically 4 to 5.
I guess my concern on this project, by being here on this site, you guys know, it was a skating rink, that entire
Yes.
road out there. There's a hydraulic connection from the left side to the right side. Are we gonna address this in any way, shape, or form from the disruption of running these lines?
It'll have to be done in the dry. There's no ifs and buts about it. The wells can be installed as long as the road is dry. But as far as the water lines, this is an August, September, October, lowest water table to trench.
Now previous, when we were on location a year ago for this similar walkout, that roadway, in fact, was wet, and there was some 3-inch stone that was dropped out there as a bedding in that hydraulic connection. I guess on the other side of airing some caution here, have we done any kind of a study as far as the wildlife that could possibly be there, salamanders, turtles, any type of habitat that we would disturb by tearing this up and laying these water pipes in this connection of this massive wet area, which we all witnessed? Those are my concerns. I'd like to see a study done out there to see what there is, if there's a box turtle or a salamander or any type of species that, we could be, disrupting what goes on out there as their habitat.
Well, I believe with the NOI, correct me if I'm wrong, but with the NOI, natural habitat is already looked at through the NOI.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes. The other thing is my own personal opinion, I think digging down the road like that, they're not touching one side or the other, everything's going back to the existing grade, no changes are made, that water's still gonna flow across like it did, like we saw on Saturday. I don't think that should ever change. I don't think they should build the road up. I don't think they should go down any further.
Yeah.
Keep it the way it is. So with that being said, I don't think that we have an issue with the habitat because the NOI is looking at that.
Typically, as far as habitat studies, you look at whether it's mapped by natural heritage in the endangered species program. We have to include that as an exhibit within the NOI, which it is included. And it's not mapped. If it
Okay.
was mapped, we were required to send a notice of intent to natural heritage.
Okay,
And then they would possibly put conditions in. If it was in a turtle habitat, they put they call it a turtle plan,
yeah,
turtle protection plan in place. But since it's not mapped, it's not required to have a habitat study.
okay. I guess the last question here, Dave, the size of the trench proposed to do these lines, how wide is this?
The width of a bucket.
Okay, so we're not gonna be putting anything out of the roadway as far as materials?
When they dig the trench, they'll put the
They'll
material
sit on the
immediately adjacent to the trench.
Okay,
They'll do sections as they put in a water line, 30, 40 feet, they'll backfill, and they'll keep, so it'll be done incrementally.
okay,
They won't open up the whole trench.
okay.
They'll just keep moving it along.
And it's so wet there, they're not gonna throw it to the side of the road
Yeah.
either. They're
No,
gonna
they'll
try to
be
keep-
contained with, so
So
erosion
from-
controls on both sides, so
Yeah.
they're working in a corridor,
Okay,
a narrow 10-foot wide corridor, enough, to have a mini excavated trench, and for the guys to be on the side and then work in the trench.
okay, okay. I feel better about this, knowing that, we've crossed these bridges, and I'm more content, we'll say.
Anyone from the public? Nope. Mark?
So, hi, Dave, so, I walked the site, Saturday as well. And this might reveal my ignorance a little bit, but the pump house is gonna be right off not far from the cul-de-sac.
Yes.
I'm not sure, the wetlands right there. Is there any chance for any kind of spillage? I don't know what's running the pump. And it may not be that big, it's a contained structure.
It'll be a slab foundation, a wood structure, very similar to what's further down. It's actually just looks like a little shed, but the roof is not very tall.
All right, that was one of the things, it just I wanted to ask you about. And this might be beyond this project, I think it is, but as you walk up the road, there's an area cleared, a bunch of
Yes.
timber down still. That's part of a solar farm, so that's not really, my question is, what's gonna be the disposition of that material ultimately? And
That will be explained by, I would imagine, Beals and Thomas. I think they're handling the solar project.
Okay.
So I don't think that's not going anywhere until they actually do something with the solar project.
All right.
And I'm told they're close to filing.
All right.
One thing they were looking for is the relocation of the wells in order for them to finalize their plan. And I believe it's the same company that, the one you had early on your agenda, same solar company.
All right. Yeah, I didn't put you on the spot there, I assumed it wasn't
Yeah.
your issue, but
My walking back there with you was the first time I've seen it.
Yeah, yeah.
thank you.
So one of my concerns, Dave, is that the drill rigs, when they go in to put the well, that these guys have spill containments. Emergency spill containment, just like we do at Eversource, everyone else, they got the diapers, they got everything they need.
Yep.
That's one of my big concerns, that they have it in possession. I know a lot of guys says, oh yeah, it's in the pickup truck that's, 1,000 feet away.
Can we condition the project as such?
I would like to put that into the NOI and
Absolutely.
to make sure that they do have their spill kits. Is there anything else that someone wants, or everyone feels comfortable with what we're doing?
Dave, are we gonna be doing any type of refueling on that site for any of the equipment to forego this project? Is there gonna be a fueling station of anything?
For the well rig,
Probably. I mean, let's be
Yeah,
real, there's
yeah,
equipment,
I mean-
there's probably gonna be some fueling. The other thing is we pull it off the road to fuel, pull it back to like almost to the
pull it to the
Right,
cul-de-sac.
cul-de-sac.
Right.
Correct,
Yeah,
get it off of that
They'll know
road.
when they're low and.
Well,
Yeah.
you're gonna want them to take everything that far.
That's in that
so-
order already, no refueling.
Oh, it's in the order already? Alright, so there's no refueling there, so we get, that made that easy,
Fire
Joey.
door, no equipment stored, no refueling, no portable toilets or wash off of concrete in the buffer zone.
Mr.
Do you
Chairman,
wanna add something to it?
Go right ahead, man.
Oh, I'm sorry, we could finish that, I had another question, but that might be,
So the only thing I'd like to add to that is the, emergency spill kit.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, what about them?
I want them on site.
Yeah, you said you want them in the truck that you do it or something, right?
Yeah, right up close to the work. And you can put that right up close to the work.
How many feet?
20, within 20 feet of the work.
No,
Yeah,
I'm just saying,
Yeah.
that's
Well,
all.
the
on
within-
elevation.
It's gonna be within the erosion control.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we can be 20 feet up the road, right from where they're working, you know, so as long as everything stays right there. All right, with that being said,
I have one more.
go right ahead, Matt.
So Dave, I'm sorry, I just remembered too, so on the septic down below, you're moving it. And maybe you already mentioned this or addressed this, but there's some pine trees I think you're gonna take down
Yes.
right along the edge of the,
Yeah, these large pine trees, they wanna take them down. They're actually currently, this is a business and trucks come through here and the branches are already a problem. We're gonna now move, we're gonna shift the gravel driveway over. It's gonna be more of a nuisance.
okay, so it's the vehicle traffic, and I didn't know the routes into the septic or, yeah, it's,
No, they're far enough away for concern of roots.
alright.
But the owner just, they're overgrown and they were never maintained and he would like to just take them and get rid of them.
So that's intermittent, so you can.
Yep, they can go right up against the stream.
Okay, all right,
Take them right out.
Alright, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, with that being said, I'd like to entertain a motion to give the NOI to this project. Excuse me?
Any audience?
Would be to issue an order of conditions.
With the order of conditions.
With the stipulation of a spill kit on site.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna do it one more time. I'd like to entertain the motion to give the NOI with the specific order of condition we added to it this evening.
I'll make the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye?
Alright,
You got that one?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Joanne, I gave you the wrong green cards. I
Okay.
actually filed
Oh,
with
shoot,
it.
I wrote it right on them.
so they want
That's what,
anonymous?
Perry
What's
Hill?
that?
Anonymous?
Yeah, it's
vote?
one of the
Yeah.
Perry Hills.
Yes.
The one that's common driveway, that's the common driveway.
Okay.
So that's next.
Okay.
Addition of spill kit within 20 foot, right?
Yep.
Well, Matt can help me write it tomorrow.
I'm just doing this for my own,
Dave, one last question. What's the proposed time to start this project? Do we have a date?
I would say the wells and the septic would be in the dry, so as we get to drier season,
Okay.
I would say June, July, at the earliest.
I believe in the NOI, they have to, submit something by Mark anyways, correct? Stating
They
what
do, yes, they
Yeah,
have
And
notified.
that will come all up later on after we get after the work.
Yeah,
As far as the wells, there is some permitting that the owner has to do with the DEP, because it's considered a public water supply. So there is additional permitting, that you may be copied on, I'm not sure how they handle that. And he
Okay.
has some sort of water resource expert to do that.
Yeah, if not, if we could just be kept in the loop,
Sure.
would be great.
Absolutely.
All right, moving forward. Public hearing NOI, Frank and Karen Knox, Mendel Road, map 9, lot 24A, and portion of 18H, SE number 001-0601. A notice of intent was filed by Frank and Karen Knox for property located at Mendel Road, map 9, lot 24, and portion of 18H. The applicant proposes the development of 3 residential house lots together with the construction of a common driveway, 3 single-family dwellings and associated driveways, the installation of wells, septic system, and underground utilities, and filling and grading. The applicant is represented by David M. Davinian of Schneider Davinian and Leon Incorporated. Plan name is common driveway and three lot development plan dated January 24th, 2025. Review of matters presented, votes may be taken. I'd like to entertain a motion to open up the public hearing.
Motion to open the public hearing.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Dave, you again.
In case anybody just walked in the door, I'm Dave DeVignan. I represent Frank and Karen Knox, who own this property, these three properties, as well as the next NOI public hearing, which will occur right after this. So they, little history, they purchased 3 of the 4 lots at one time from the prior owner, which is Russ Dubois. And then this lot was, the primary lot, 24A, was owned by another party. They put in a gravel driveway with the intent of building a house. They were permitted through Board of Health and signed off by conservation to build a house. And they cleared some of the land, and then something happened within the family, and they decided they didn't want to build, so they sold. And when the opportunity came, the Knox family purchased this lot as well. So they own 4 lots, which some of them have frontage on Perry Hill Road, and they come all the way back to Mendel Road through this retreat lot neck, if you will. So when the Knoxes came to us, they want access, and they want to be able to build 4 houses, and they want permits in place for that. So there were really 2 ways to approach this. 3 lots can be serviced by a common driveway, but you can't do 4. So we could have come in from Perry Hill Road with a common driveway and serviced 3 lots, but then we would have more wetland impacts. So we decided to bring the common driveway through Mendel Road. So Mendel Road will now have 3 lots with 3 house numbers off of Mendel Road. And the 4th one, which will be the next case, will be a single-family home with a single family driveway coming for that lot, that 4th house. A lot of what I filed a notice of intent for the 3 lots that are going to be serviced by the common driveway as one whole, and I did a separate one on the other because they really are separated. This is a complex project in that it needs approval from not only this board, it needs approval from the Stormwater Board, which is the same board here. It needs a permit from the Planning Board, a special permit for a common driveway, as required by the bylaws. And we've also filed an application with the Zoning Board of Appeals for a couple of variances because of the difficult nature of the slope of the land. So this is more or less step 1 in a multi-step process. When I filed the notice of intent, you might have noticed that I checked off the box that stormwater management is exempt. It is under the Massachusetts stormwater regulations because it's 4 lots or less. It's actually a 3-lot NOI. So 4 lots or less does not require stormwater management under the Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act. However, it will require a stormwater permit from this board eventually in order for the project to move forward under the stormwater bylaw that we have in town. So the steps that I've taken are file a notice of intent, take care of the wetland aspect first, then we'll come back to you for a stormwater permit, and then we'll go to the planning board once we've addressed the stormwater. And we intend to file a stormwater probably next month, so we'll be back before you. There's really no need to tie them together because it's confusing as it is. The notice of intent submitted doesn't require stormwater, but the town does, so we'll come back at another step. So I'll walk you through, it's a 4-sheet set for the plans. And again, a lot of the work is outside of your jurisdiction, but it's all part of the package. It's the only way we can analyze the whole site. When we do the stormwater analysis, it will include all 4 lots, not just 3. So sheet 1 shows the beginning point at Mendel Road. And for those who were there on Saturday, we walked it. We're proposing, under the bylaws, you're required to have a 16-foot wide gravel road. And that's what we're proposing right between the 2 stone walls, beginning at Mendel Road and running all the way until the the property ends and there's a dog left and there's a stone wall. All of what you see on sheet one is actually outside of the buffer zone. I know there are direct abutters here, especially one to the north. The design of the road, driveway, is to tilt it from the left side or the north side to the south side into a grass swale along the south side between the gravel driveway and the stone wall, and have a grass swale run the entire length, and there'll be check dams along the way to slow the water down. And then eventually it'll spill into a plunge pool, which will act as a level spreader. I've highlighted on this sheet, this is completely out of the buffer zone. This is where the buffer zone begins, the green line. The dark green line represents the limits of clearing. You can see there's just a small slither of work within the buffer zone. So if you run down the sheet here, match line A is here, and then we're going to get to here and turn, and we'll see a lot more activity on the second sheet. I have the sheet sideways, but it's the only way I can function here with the board. As you come down the road, you will then turn and head in a northerly direction along that stone wall and the ridge. Because you can see there's a lot of contours. So we're going to run the driveway along the ridge until we get to the other stone wall along the north side again, and then run it, that would be west to east. There are two proposed fire access turnarounds. There was a revision to the plan, which is outside of your jurisdiction, but it's all relevant. The fire chief asked for a secondary turnout here. So we widened this and put a radius in here. This being the buffer zone, this is outside, but there was a plan revision based upon his review. The driveway, as you can see, is completely outside of this green line and outside of the buffer zone. The first house, and again, this plan was approved by the town several years back. Some of the clearing happened, is outside the buffer zone. Septic system, driveway for that house, outside of the buffer zone. There is roof runoff proposed for each home. Green line representing the buffer zone, the dark line representing the limits of clearing. You can see again, it's just a small slither going across that lot, just to give them some room for yard and whatnot. We have a dimension here at 56 feet and 66 feet the closest points, and then from there it pulls away. We're further away outside of the buffer zone. The second house situated here is again outside the buffer zone. Same with the septic system, the driveway, roof runoff system, and it's just a small slither within the buffer zone, basically for grading purposes.
Closest point to theirs?
Closest point is 75 feet here.
Yep.
The house being, I actually have a dimension.
Yeah, we don't need that, 75.
75 feet there, so you have good clearance there. And the 75, actually, you can see it bows out here to greater than 100 as we come around the bend. And like I said, small slither here. So when the driveway turns this way, we're going to tip it the other way and put it into a stone trench. And then there'll be a grass swale running with the grades down here. There'll be a concrete pad here for a culvert that will transfer the water to the other side of the singular driveway. The third one, the third house will be built off a singular driveway from the common driveway, and that'll turn us into the next sheet. So again, so far, work within the buffer zone, two skinny slithers just on the outer limits of the buffer zone. So this is a continuation of that plan. Basically, there'll be a single driveway for a single-family home, which will run along the ridge in parallel to the existing stone wall. Just requires a small area to be cleared until we get to the house site itself. You can see that the green represents what will remain as woods. We have a 43-foot dimension through there, and then it starts to narrow down. We have a pinch point right here, only because there were two ways to design this house. One was, do we go gravity, in which the house would be tucked up against the septic? When I analyzed that, the leaching field has to be so high out of the ground, and the grades are breaking against us, we'd have to fill just to put the cellar in. That doesn't make any sense. So what made sense to me is to put a pump system in, pull the house away from the mound for the leaching field, and just kind of build it into the land so that we have a walkout basement, which the cellar will be just slightly above grade on this side. And the drive under garage take advantage of what we have going on here. So there's no fill proposed on these two sides. We have a stone retaining wall here. It's actually just gonna fill the front of the house so that it looks right. And then there'll be basically a bump over here for the septic leaching field. Again, you can see the green buffer zone line, the leaching field, pump chamber, septic tank, and any grading associated with that outside of the buffer zone. I'd say about 2/3 of the house is in the buffer zone, but we have 55 feet from the wetlands at closest point. We sort of directed it so that we could work with the contours to get that drive under garage. And I basically, gave them 30 feet on these two sides, just to have, this is about an acre for them to use. It's a 5-acre piece, 4.91, and they're basically gonna utilize 1 acre here, excluding the strip to get the driveway. So at that pinch point, we do propose boulders, and we're setting them 10 feet on center, so that this will act as a permanent barrier to that wetland resource area, this pimple that kind of bumps out there. And so the last sheet is essentially just a construction sheet which shows the various cross sections of the driveway, the common driveway, and there's a stormwater operation maintenance plan put in play, knowing we're gonna be filing for stormwater permit in the future.
If you don't mind, Dave, I'd like to just back up a little bit to the culvert you're putting in.
Yep.
Okay, so that's gonna go underneath, is there gonna be any catching for sand or anything? I know you got a grass swale.
So this grass swale, there will be 3 trap rock check dams, which will trap, water will bleed through, trap, water will bleed through, same thing. So we got 3 different filtration systems. And then there'll be a stone head wall built here with a pipe, and there'll be a depression at the entrance of the pipe. So the water will flow through the check dams, gets to the pipe, then it'll discharge to this side. And then it's just gonna flow, continue into a grass swale and then a depression, where it'll fill up and then cascade out.
Right, so everything that goes through that culvert is gonna be clean.
That's
That's
correct.
what- yeah, that's what I
Yep,
asked.
that's
Yep.
what the check dams are for.
Alright. Anyone else?
Dave, could we go
Yeah.
to the last drawing for the third house, please? So obviously, this is the furthest point, the proposal of this house. Are we still maintaining the 16-foot driveway, the length into?
No, it changes. The 16-foot driveway ends right here.
Okay. What's the length of that driveway, back to the main, that main
From
point?
here to there,
Yes.
I'll have to break out the scale for that one.
Yeah.
Uh,
Don't look at us.
I have a scale,
thumbs?
no, I do.
You got thumbs? I'm gonna put it back.
You know where I'm going with this?
750 feet.
550? So we got a guess on the table, Dave, 550. Let's see how close you come.
That's 240. That's about 300. 350. 400. 450. What about that? About 550.
So
Right to there.
I guess, number one, is the fire department okay with this without a proposed turnaround for that length?
I sent this full set of plans to the fire chief, and he replied that the only thing he's requesting, and he did look at it, is the way these driveways are designed, he thought it was adequate enough. He actually mentioned it in the email, and he requested on the first sheet, the additional turnout for that first home.
So there was no concern reaching his house without a turnaround
No,
in his eyes?
according to the email I received, no.
Okay.
Sure.
The only thing he did was, like Dave was saying, he did ask for a number 1 turnaround, so now there's 2 turnarounds.
That's
Right, servicing those homes that are out here in
That's
East
correct.
Cuddy as far as I'm concerned.
Yep.
I have a little bit of a concern because of the distance You know what I'm saying, between point A and point B without a serviceable turnaround?
Well, that would be the fire department, though. to tell you the
Yeah.
truth.
Yeah,
I
I
did ask him for,
Yeah.
something on letterhead, knowing in the future I will need that for planning board.
okay, so it's risen then, so,
Yeah.
okay.
I'm hopeful to get a letter from him, so.
okay.
um,
That would be the only, eyebrow I would raise at this project at this point in time.
My biggest concern is the 15-foot. You're putting the boulders there. I understand what you're kinda doing, so it ain't like they're gonna be beyond it. That was the only concern I had. Anyone from the public got any concerns on this or wanna ask a question? Nope, anyone else from the board?
I have a couple questions. And this is probably planning, I don't know, since Doug asked the question. It's gravel now, the single drive, is it?
Yes.
I mean, it's planning board question, I guess, but it's kind of
It will be.
stormwater, a little bit, not, but is it gonna remain gravel or?
Yes.
It's gonna, okay.
Yep.
So I had a couple, questions and it's more for my information. So on the, road in, there's a stormwater right of way there. I don't know the significance of it. I understand it was, I don't know the history of it, but I understand it was put in at some point for,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's drainage easement.
And, and I couldn't see, is there any culvert, does it, because it gets wet on the south side of that road. It's basically a wet meadow, it looks like, but I don't think they're jurisdictional wetlands.
There's no, I mean, the easement's in place, we show it.
Yeah,
We don't think they ever exercised anything for it.
alright,
They didn't break the wall, so the water has to.
it's pooling
It's
there.
gonna hit the wall and run through.
Okay.
The way the design is, we're gonna mash grades on the left side and build it down and carve out the swale to the right side, so that we won't impede any flow coming off the hill. Everything will just run right across the driveway.
So that was just one question. I know walking, it's cold, but, some of that's wet meadow, but I don't think it's jurisdictional, it's not a, but and that's where the swale would go. So I wanted to ask that question. I was looking at Mass Mapper, or whichever one I was on. And again, I don't, a good lawyer never asks a question they don't have an answer to, so I'm not a lawyer, and if I wasn't, I wouldn't be a good lawyer, but the Mass Mapper, there's somewhere down below, I think there's a verified vernal pool, or not vernal
There's a
pool.
pond.
There's a pond, but on this side, and I just saw it a little while ago, like this afternoon, I was looking at it, and I don't even know if it's on the Knox's property or not, but it's pretty close in there. I don't know if that had come up.
There are multiple ponds to the, let's say, the east of the site. We actually,
Yeah, it's, and I don't know,
right here in
that-
the locus, you can see there's a pond right here, and this is actually, I think it's connected to an impounded pond. That was for the cranberry bogs
Yeah.
to the further east. That was on it's on Dubois property.
Okay.
I don't know of any mapped, we don't know of any mapped vernal pools in the area.
Okay, and I could share that. I mean, again, it was last minute, so, and I don't have the answer, and I don't even know if it's on the property we're talking about, but it's close. And the one other, this is again, more of a bad lawyer question. Tinkham Brook, that's Tinkham Brook coming down through there, right, in some point. A couple of there, and not here, but
Well, it's
further.
quite a ways, yes.
Yeah, but,
There is
That
there's
would
a
be-
stream, right here
okay,
that drains into this pond. It's on the east side of the Knox property.
okay,
That was determined to be intermittent years ago when they built on the other side.
okay,
I think Tinkham is further southeast of the site,
okay,
and that is Brandon.
okay, yeah, and I would
We're
assume
not
that
within-
you would have caught it on the.
We're not within 200 feet.
Yeah, okay.
So it's far enough away that we're not gonna impact this
That's correct.
resource area.
Yeah, quite a ways away.
That's actually behind the fields,
Yeah.
Howland's Fields.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
and we walked the site,
Yeah.
but I didn't feel like getting knee-deep in muck, trying where, you know.
Cut up for the brines.
right, or
No, I
yes.
know the area pretty good, and back there is the stream right behind all those fields. It actually goes to Gammons Road that way and heads that way. So, with that being said, I'd like to entertain a motion that we accept the NOI.
Oh, make
Did
a
you ask
motion.
anybody to?
Oh, anyone from the public? I thought I asked
Yeah,
already.
you
Did
did.
you?
I did.
Alright,
All right.
Can I have a second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All set on that one, Dave?
Thank you.
Unanimous.
Yeah, I do like the placeholders. That's a good idea.
Yeah, it just, lets everyone know that, hey, this is it, this is the limit. The split rail fences,
Can't move them.
right, the split rail fence is a little easier to say, okay, they're rotten, let's throw them away.
Right,
Yeah.
and that's replacing.
Okay, so next. Public hearing, NOI Frank and Karen Knox, Perry Hill Road, map 9, northerly portion of 18H, SE number 0010602. A notice of intent was filed by Frank and Karen Knox for property located at Perry Hill Road, map 9, northerly portion of 18H. The applicant proposed is construction of single-family dwelling and gravel driveway, installation of a well, septic system, and underground utilities, and filling and grading. The applicant is represented by David M. Davinian of Schneider, Davinian and Leone Incorporated. Plan name is Sewage Disposal System, site plan dated January 24, 2025. Review of matters presented, votes may be taken. I'd like to entertain a motion to open up the public hearing.
Motion to open the public hearing.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Dave, it's yours again.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You wanna tell us who you are?
For the record, Dave Devine representing. So on the upper part of the plan, we do show the locus, which actually shows all the lots that we were just talking about. This one's highlighted. This is a retreat lot which has frontage off Perry Hill, and we're proposing access off Perry Hill. It does require a wetland crossing about this piece of the whole piece. For reference, there's a house to the west that we're going to be about double the distance from the road back from that house. So in order to draw this on the 20 scale, we had to break up the plan. We have a match line back here. There's actually upland area along the front of Perry Hill Road, probably enough to maybe squeeze in a house, but you could put a septic. That upland area will come in handy in order to construct the driveway. So the driveway will run parallel to the existing stone wall, which runs along the west side. It will require a crossing from this green line over this green line. The proposal is to fill or alter permanently 4,700 square feet of wetlands, and then replicate it just past, as we get past the wetlands, adjacent to the wetland flags over here, 5,150 square feet of replication area. So as this area will be utilized, we're showing erosion control to utilize this area. I anticipate it'll be cleared so they can use this as stockpile for the soils coming out, the spoils coming out of the wetland area, so that they can then be placed here once this is excavated. The driveway would be built incrementally, beginning at Perry Hill Road, working our way in, and working again within a corridor of erosion control on both sides. There is a culvert shown at the low point for connectivity from the west to the east. And as we continue on, second sheet pretty much shows the meat of the project, which is the construction of a home, highlighted in pink. This line represents the buffer zone. You can see just the southwest corner of the property is outside of the buffer zone. That'll be the location of the leaching field, and basically majority of the fill is for the leaching field, outside of the placement within the buffer zone of this area right here, just to fill up to make the house look right. There's a retaining wall on this side, walkout basement towards the rear of the house, and a drive-under garage, just a mirror image of the other one on the other side, that house being right here. So we did show 30-foot No activities here. We got greater than 30 here. Does pinch down a little bit over here because we're bottleneck down between the wall and the wetlands. And over here, we're at 15 feet, and again, we're putting boulders around this bend here, if you will, of the wetland system. New front office proposed for the house. The last sheet essentially is the septic details and whatnot, so.
Alright, so this one here, Dave, was the only one that DEP sent us a letter back on. They wanted us to review the three.
Well, yes.
Yep.
Yeah, that's standard for them to put that in. I noticed in the last year or two, for you to review, the criteria for doing a wetland crossing.
Yep.
And I believe I covered that in the notice of intent. In the, so the minimum ratio is a 1-to-1, so whatever you fill, you gotta be 1-to-1 minimum. We're 5,150 versus 4,700. The finished grades of the replication area are proposed to, we're carving out that hill to match the grades, so it'll be at or below the existing wetland grades. The replication area is at the same general area as the altered area. It's immediately downstream to the left. The replacement area will have hydraulic connectivity. We're proposing a culvert to make that connection. And then they require 75% of the indigenous wetland plant species to be reestablished within 2 growing seasons. And this will be monitored once it's built by the wetland scientists. Reports will be submitted yearly until certificate of compliance is issued, and we have to wait at least 2 growing seasons. Those are generally the bullet points for wetland replication, alteration replication.
So on the NOI, we don't get the list of what's gonna be planted or the complete,
Yes, you do.
replication details?
Yes. yes,
So
you
we
do.
already have that?
Yes, it's in the NOI, it's also on the plan. If I go down to the last sheet, there's a detail of the replication area. This is the detail for the replication. This is the list of plants and trees, shrubs, ground cover, wetland seed mix. And this actually is cut and paste from the notice of intent. And this is the construction methodology for the replication, alteration replication area. So all of this from the NOI is put on the plan.
But,
So I, and I'm not familiar with what would be disturbed, that would be being replicated. Is it a forested area coming in, or is it?
It's,
a
yes,
marsh?
it's forested. It's the tree area.
Yeah, so.
So there'll be trees cut down, trees replaced.
Okay. And you said that there's you'll use a culvert to maintain a hydrologic connection.
Correct.
What's the, and I'm sorry, what's the diameter, is it
12-inch pipe.
12-inch pipe? Okay. Yeah, and as Jimmy said, we got notified by DEP about this issue and just ensuring the replication fell within the guidelines, so. And as you mentioned, the reporting, the 2 growing seasons, I definitely would want to be present and notified when that was going on. I mean, not all the time, but
Sure.
to come in case there's anything.
And
Not that,
you can condition the project that way. If you condition it, that the wetland scientist calls the office and then schedule a meeting for his inspection.
yeah, and pre-construction, actually, I mean, I
Yes.
think that's fairly standard.
Yes,
but,
pre-construction standard.
you just hadn't said anything?
Have we done a study on this, David, where we're impeding the wetland areas again, turtle, program, anything that we should be concerned about out there? Where
It
we're
is.
impeding out there,
It is not mapped by Natural Heritage.
not mapped.
There is some to the north on the other side of Perry Hill Road, I believe, but not there, Doug. I'm pretty sure I looked.
Anyone else? Okay, well then I'd like to entertain a motion to, for the NOI with the conditions of, notifying the agent or the commission, pre-construction and construction during the replication. Do I have a second?
No.
I have a motion.
Somebody else has to make a motion.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Dave did this, all those in favor?
Aye.
You got it?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm gonna make a motion to close the hearing because we didn't do that on the last one, I noticed.
Okay, I'd like to entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion to close the public hearing.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Do you want me to close the other one? Really good.
Sure.
All right, I'd like to make, entertain a motion to close the other public hearings.
Meeting number 601.
Motion?
Seconds.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Yeah.
Now discussions. Deep Brook Estate SC number 001-0523, Mr. Joe Costello is requesting a waiver regarding the stormwater security when the stormwater BMP's best management practices are complete. Review of matters presented, votes may be taken. Mr. Costello?
Yes, how are you? Thank you, how are you, good evening. Just wanted to follow up on, a couple weeks ago, we were discussing, we were having an issue getting a surety company to give us a bond because the basins aren't complete yet. And, you guys are gonna take it under advisement and give us some update, and I saw it on the agenda, so I wanted to comment.
Okay, so, what I was looking into is what about a surety on the construction project? At the beginning, then when the construction's done, then we switch that over to your second security, security for the basin.
But I believe that there's already some surety with the town for the road. I don't believe we need any additional at the moment. We're putting up the money for the project.
Yeah, I know, but I don't like the surety for the basin to be after, truthfully. So how can we
What
lock
about when
that
they're
in?
completed?
What's that?
What about when they're completed before any lots are released? Like, just let the work be completed.
Okay, so then this is a verbal, right? So what you're telling me is you're gonna say, okay, we're gonna build this, after it's built, we're gonna give you a surety. That's what you're saying, right? That gives you nothing to stop from selling them.
Oh, you guys stop us. We can't, everything has to be completed before we can even put a lot for sale.
We could probably, sorry, we can make a,
I don't know.
So it was advised for me to let you know to put a surety on the project, okay? Once that, you get the basins in, and then we're completed, then we can drop that surety, and we won't drop that one until you come up with a surety for the basin. But that first one will get dropped as soon as you produce the one for the second.
I just find that that's unprecedented from what I understand. I haven't seen that being done on any projects prior.
So I know that you should be able to get a surety then for the basin prior to building it. We've had it done before, other companies have
We've
done
asked
it.
actually the town to produce some records of some past projects. They have not given us any updates. So it leads me to believe we are the first ones right now. No one's ever given us any stuff. We even called today, the town administrator's office.
how many days?
No response.
How many days ago did you put in for your, public records information?
Jeez, months ago.
What was that? I think it's 30 days.
And I thought this was more of a discussion amongst yourselves. I was just coming to listen. I didn't realize I was gonna be up here today.
Yeah, Mr. Mitten, what if we had Mr. Mitten look into that? about if you have to put in, for what he's asking, I don't think that's fine, that's to have, if it's put in the NOI, would he have to go in for an amendment? Just have the condition at the end, added that he can get it at the end of, before he puts in any lots. We'd have to sit down and write out a correct motion.
Can I, so just to clarify what the question is, so I heard basically what you heard, I think, Jim, that the town would like to see a surety for the construction and postponing a surety for maintenance. So that's kind of the question, right? So your
No,
question.
it's not the question.
But let me add,
The
okay,
question
from
is-
that, the question would be, can we condition, if the commission approves an NOI tonight with this kind of.
Hold on, we're not asking for an NOI to be approved.
Okay,
No,
I'm sorry, I misspoke. So
Ready?
This is
Listen.
the Owen,
Listen.
I'm sorry.
Excuse me, this is a question. Can you research and find out if we wanted to put in for to redo a small thing like that, would we have to go in for, would he have to come in for an amendment to have it added to the existing NOI?
But isn't it stormwater?
This has nothing to do with the NOI.
It's
though.
stormwater.
Stormwater.
This is stormwater.
Sorry.
No, that's okay, just wanted to
Yeah,
get back.
no,
Yeah.
so to have it added to the stormwater.
Can we condition that
Yeah,
before,
So, 'cause
in
it's
lieu
not-
of getting another surety, that
Yeah, so I don't
it
think
would
you,
condition a situation where lots were sold, there was no recourse.
Lots cannot get
This
sold
is-
until
no, he's asking-
everything's
I'm
done.
speaking again, my
he's
apologies.
just asking to have it, so at the end, before any lots are released or sold, that he has that put in place, which I personally don't think that's out of the ball field of being reasonable,
And-
but do
and I
we
agree.
have to?
And that's what I was trying to
But-
say.
do-
As long as
do
we can get it secured,
but
so we
yeah.
know it is. I agree.
So
something
do we have to,
conditioned.
would we have to put in how it,
I don't
So-
know, what
so
we'll
you're-
do, Mark, if you don't mind, we're gonna have you research it, see how we put this in writing, so we know that we covered all bases.
that's it.
As soon as Mark Resource says, figure out how we're gonna put it in writing, I'll have him get a hold of you, say this is what it is, we'll email it to you, make sure you're fine with everything that's said, and then we shouldn't have a problem.
I have a meeting tomorrow morning
So,
where,
well, why don't
with
we,
the town administrator, I can start there, and I know you have my contact,
Yeah,
but
you
I'll
give me a
reach
call
out.
after, there's no rush.
you,
We just wanted to get everything on the table.
Yeah,
that's
maybe
all.
you could come back next meeting and we should be able to have an answer for him.
Well, this was only a discussion,
So
so,
put it on discussion for next meeting.
yeah, we can, or we can just have Mark call him and go through it, once Mark figures it out.
Well, alright, I think that's a great idea for his, but I think it might be also a great idea for the public to be aware of, that they could do that.
Alright, Joanne, do we wanna put that on the next meeting for a discussion?
Yeah.
So we'll bring it up again, Mark will get a hold of you, let's see if we can just make this all work together and go from there.
Appreciate your time.
Alright, have a good evening.
Thank you.
Alright, next.
So we'll bring it up, over at next meeting,
Yep.
over at,
Oh, sure. Okay, I'll walk with
Discussion.
for discussion on.
Okay, next on the
What
discussion.
is it?
And stormwater was done in the planning board.
Yeah, that was way before
Yeah,
us.
that's why I don't,
I don't-
well, another concern, like, I don't know how we would feel about it. Well, we'll
Talk
hopefully
with Mark
Mark
and go
can
from
get
there.
through it and, assure the end of project.
Okay, discussion, 550 Main Street, Navison Solar Site, update on drainage issues, reviews of matter presented, votes may be taken. Steve,
How are you guys?
hey Steve, let us know who you are, Steve, and then we'll start this
Steve
conversation.
Campbell, COO Navison. I'm back to give you an update. We were coming back, we've been working with Bill. I asked Bill to stay when he was here earlier, he was on his way out. I just wanted him to be here to hear this and interject as needed. Meridian and Bill are working on final as-built and the design, make sure everything's copacetic. He's asked for a couple things, Meridian's updating that. So I said I wanted to get everything locked in, where the as-built is, where the design is. I've also told this board, and I've done this, so if anyone said otherwise, I really would like to know, because I don't think we've closed up all the basins. Again, basin 3 is all closed up, we're not discharging towards Walsh. We are pumping from 3 into 2 into 1, and we're using previously approved methodology out of 2. There's a standpipe that we used there a long time ago, and then 1 is just free flowing the way it is. We're gonna be ready for this weekend. We're watching this. I have cameras set up all over the place, and we've been maintaining it. We're working with Bill on getting everything done. We still, once we get that set, then I wanna come back in March and say, this is the plan. Like, we're still working on a plan. We still need the grass to grow about how we're gonna get this out, but we're starting to discuss some ideas that we're thinking. So we still have some time, and I'm still not discharging any water until Bill says I can. So I think that's, it's moving a little slower than anybody wanted, but we have some time and I'm managing it, I'm not discharging any water. So if there's been any complaints about us discharging, we haven't. I still would like to say that if anybody does, just let me know. We have cameras set up all the time out there with their night vision. We'll have guys out there this weekend. So we're still standing up to anything. So Bill, anything to add on that?
I don't have too much to add other than what Steve has said is accurate. Chris Ryan and I are working on going through a few of the things on the as-built plan, making sure that everything that needs to be there so that we can justify and check everything stormwater wise is on that plan. So there's a couple things he needs to do with that. I took a ride out there on Saturday after our on-site, and it did note that the basins appeared that no water was leaving. We didn't do a detailed walkthrough, but the water elevation was much higher, say in Basin 2 than what it had been previously. And it's pretty apparent that we're just staging water in the basins as intended. And just working through the process. As soon as Chris gets me the information, we'll look at where it all stands and complete our review on the stormwater. I didn't go through it all because I really prefer to have that updated information so that we can verify everything that's presented to us.
Okay, so by March 12th, is he gonna have the complete as-built?
He will.
Okay.
Yeah. And what I was just gonna say was, once we get that, I have promised this town, I've promised multiple boards that I will come back with a written plan of what we're gonna do in the spring, once it starts to thaw and free. And so how we're gonna get this going, so that we can finally just walk away and say, yes, we need vegetation growing out there. Bill and I are already talking about some amendments maybe to outlet control structures, but that'll all be in writing. We'll probably have to come back after the March 12th meeting again. But my ultimate goal is to present to this town a plan, an interim plan, to say what we're gonna do until everybody signs off on it.
Okay. The other thing is, like I said, I think that the as-built is real important too.
Yeah.
So we know what was built out there.
Yep.
Right?
We've gone out, we've resurveyed everything, because there were some questions on the level spreaders, which I heard you discussing earlier. And so, we're checking everything. So we've done all that and Bill.
All the low depths and all that.
Yep. So,
Sounds good.
okay.
Thank you for the update.
So if anybody, like I said, if anyone calls or says anything after Sunday, let me know.
Oh, we got your number.
I know you do. I thought it left with Ryan, but
Actually, that was passed. That was passed. He passed it right out.
I'm sure he did. So, but I have a invoice that I'm trying to get money down for you. That I'm going to get that.
No worries.
The check's been requested, so
All right.
I've been in touch with the agent. So.
All right. So as far as the as-built, Bill, is he gonna get it before March 12th? So
Oh,
we
yeah.
can discuss
We're
it
working
March
it.
12th.
Yeah,
All right. Good.
we should have it in the next 2 weeks.
Sounds good.
All right.
Okay.
Sounds good. Have a good evening.
Thank you all.
It's only gonna go as
We'll
discussion.
put it on the next one.
Yep. No motion needed.
July 12th, March 12th.
Next one, yeah.
Thank
All
you
right, guys. See you then.
Night, you guys have a
Okay.
good
Next
night.
discussion.
Thanks.
275 National Road, discussion of relocating, removing, and replanted trees on the southern side of property. Chain link fence surrounds the backyard. Review of matters presented, votes may be taken. 275 Mendel Road, I actually got a phone call from Lauren, the owner. They're gonna be having wires put in their property with poles. They didn't realize that it was gonna be right next to their house, but it's going to be. So Eversource and them are working together about replacing the chain link fence, because the chain link fence can't be underneath the wires. They're talking about removing all this shrubbery that this has been, like you walk on that property, you'd swear that this property is theirs, no easements, no nothing. But all the established trees that have been in there for 20-something years, that's all coming out. It's all close to the wetlands, real close to the wetlands. So they are gonna come back to us. She asked to have it not, she didn't wanna be here this evening. She had too much going on with Eversource and her figuring out the final things. They actually, Eversource now wants them to put a delineation line in. I think Eversource is gonna do it for them. So they're really going back and forth with Eversource. My own personal opinion, I think this is gonna be, hey, if there's a fence there and you're gonna pull this chain link fence out and put a vinyl fence back, I think they should be able to do it. But it's something we'll discuss, walk through, and go from there once she finds out more from Eversource. But just kind of wanted to give you guys a head up. They're dealing with Eversource big time. So. Okay, agent update. Mark, what do we got? Anything?
So quick, I spoke to Chance, New Bedford agent. Shared a lot of stuff that Eric had brought up, but he's in, yeah, so we communicated. You know, one of the things that he discussed, and I agree, and this has come up a number of times. The weed removal, great project, but we're treating symptoms. So Chance suggested, and this, you know, some type of outreach, education to the public. I don't think we can tie that into this necessarily this project, but we could perhaps ask for signage there at the, you know, the boat ramp. You know, please, you know, make sure, check your props, check your paddles. You know, we have this. Again, that would be something to discuss with.
I think Scott Daggett already mentioned that in one of the meetings, if I'm correct. He did mention saying that he did want to put signs at the boat ramp regarding keeping your boats cleaned and everything else. So I think that'll be something. The other thing that I wanted to discuss as far as the agent updates was Mark and I, and we all discussed about everyone getting an email. With that email, you can take and put down your concerns of what we want on the NOI for this Lake Street project. You send it back to Joanne. Joanne can print them all for Mark. Mark can review them all, bundle them up, and put that as an NOI. So it gives us a spot to give Mark what we think. Mark will put it all into one, then it'll be on the NOI.
And before the next meeting, I'm gonna share with Scott, but I'll share with the commission. I have a draft set of conditions that got circulated quite a while ago, but they're taken directly out of DEP's aquatic vegetation management policy.
Did Chance have anything else to say? We kind of jumped off there. What about him and his commission being involved, and that was supposed to be
So Chance basically said that he would run this by and keep his commission informed. He said that he can't speak for his commission, but you know that, you know,
Is he going to present to us a written memo of what he would like to have done so that it can be presented to the board here?
Yeah, he said, and you had mentioned there are three things, and Eric, my apologies, off the top of my head, I don't remember exactly those three things, but I know they were overlapping the discussion we've already had, the conditions. So he's gonna share that. I'm also gonna send him, he wants to see the NOI, so I'm gonna share that with him. And in terms of, you know, New Bedford Conservation Commission, Chance was very clear that I'm speaking for myself right now, but, you know, I think, you know, there's not gonna be a conflict.
When did he speak to?
Let's see, what day, this week? It's all, let's see, Monday.
Yeah, it was Monday.
Oh,
Monday.
this week?
Yeah, so Monday.
Okay.
So when we get those emails,
Sorry.
guys, from Mark, let's really just concentrate on putting your thoughts down, getting them sent back like at a real quick time. So this way Mark has plenty of time to work on that. Also, I think once he gets all ours, Chance will get a copy of what we say. We're gonna get Chances. I think it'll be really good for everyone to get involved with this and give as much thought as possible. I think we're gonna have a lot of repetitive thoughts, which is fine, cause then Mark could say, okay, everyone's saying this, that's definitely a good one, right? So if we just give our thoughts on the email, send it back, get it back in a timely manner, and, let's rock and roll with that.
And, yeah, so the sooner I get them, and my plan is to circulate the draft orders of conditions and including sharing them with Scott. So I'll go for the next meeting, so we can hopefully be all on the same page with that. That's the main one. I will add, I know we've reached out to a bunch of, well, everyone. If you haven't registered yet for this MACC, I think Eric, Heidi, did you, Jim. So I know there's some conflicts, I know, Nelson can't.
Yeah.
Are you going?
Yeah, I need to sign up
Yeah, so we.
You wanna jump on what I took?
Yeah, sign me up for what?
Joanne, same thing as what Heidi and I are in.
Oh, Doug?
Yep, Doug, what about you, Rebecca? You wanna take a look at them, talk with Joanne?
She's already, yeah, she's already done.
Or
a few of
are
those.
these the
These are-
fundamentals?
No,
Yeah.
this ain't
you
the
can pick
fundamental,
other
we're not
numbers.
taking the fundamentals.
Yeah, but
Whoa.
the one coming up, what is it, March 1st?
March first
Yeah.
Saturday.
You get the emails, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so just go through them, you see the agenda and just pick what you, cause you already done some of them.
Yeah, I finished my fundamentals.
Yeah.
But there's like
So-
so many other classes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
Eric's
go
taking
down
a
the
replication,
I'm
And
taking
what's your
like replication, a forestry one, correct manner on, what's it called,
Gotta do,
Oh,
enforcement.
enforcement.
This is like on the same day as Concord.
Yeah, so,
Okay, so
but
we
you
can
gotta just be careful when you're doing it, so you gotta pay attention to the times. At first I got mixed up, I was starting to go this way, and I was like, oh man, I have to go this way.
Yeah.
And just pay attention to what the times are, and make sure they line up, and you don't, I try not to have too much dead time in between each one, you don't wanna pick one.
And it's posted on MACC's webpage, the
Yeah,
schedule, and.
I get all their emails.
Okay.
but just get back to Joanne as soon as possible, so we can just get this through.
Yeah.
I think
One other
Nelson
thing.
is not
Oh,
gonna be there.
You don't wanna take the bus to the lunchroom, you wanna run down, because the buses get crazy, we found out that last year, remember?
Oh, yeah.
We were lucky we ran down, let's put it that way. Alright, other businesses. Any other business that may properly come before the commission not readily anticipated when posting 48 hours prior to the meeting. Future business, the next meeting of the Conservation Commission will be held on March 12, 2025. Meeting to be held at the Acushnet Police Department.
Yeah, see, cause that came after.
Acushnet, Mass. With that being said, I'd like to entertain a motion
Do you want
to,
one more?
oh, go right ahead.
Just so everyone knows, we've talked about this, I know, a few times. We got a request from Board of Selectmen, and it's not just Concom, I think it's all the departments, it's townwide, to review fees. So, their next meeting is,
Fees?
To make sure that we're compatible with other towns.
Oh, alright.
yeah,
So we're gonna look, see what the other towns are, we're gonna bring it before the selectmen. If we're lower than everyone else, or we're not compatible with the other towns, that gives us right to bump up a little bit. We're just gonna see it, see what it looks like. Mark and I are actually gonna start looking at that. We got 30 days to give all the information to the selectmen, then we're gonna see what they say.
and this has been ongoing for a little while, within the office and other things.
It's done here.
Yeah,
All right,
I won't
so with
interrupt
that,
again.
I'd like to entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Have a good evening.